Hello and welcome to the making of Face Eater. My name is John McClure. I was the assistant director. I played the main character Flex Crush. I was the screenwriter and the co-producer. With me is the director, Jared Featurette.
Hello.
And the co-producer, and also our friend Josh Schoberg. And Josh did the sound and played one of the characters in scene 4.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about what it was like to make a movie in Durango. And what's interesting is it took us 3 years of continuous filming and 1 year of post-production of editing and putting in special effects and soundtrack and just trying to get all the details lined up. And I have to say that I had a pretty good time with it, but I'm also glad that we're at the finish line because I didn't want a divorce and my wife was ready to spend time with me again.
Yeah, it was definitely a long 3 years. I think we all put everything into it that we could. I know it's probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done, but also the most rewarding. I think you guys would agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And unless you like to punish yourself, I'd strongly recommend that you do not make a feature film for no money.
You'd be surprised how many people help out for free, though.
Well, in our case,
okay.
In our case, that was everyone.
Yes,
everyone got
yeah.
equal treatment, zero pay.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
a check with $0 on it from you guys. Frame it.
That would have been kind of self-defeating since, you know,
we don't have the budget for a $0 check.
True. We would have had to open an account, and that would have taken from the beer fund.
Oh well.
You know, originally this film was going to be a short film, 20 to 30 minutes, and it came as a result of me seeing Jared's second short film called Lurid Kiss that played at the Abbey Theater. And after seeing that film, which was sort of a mix of horror and crime noir, I suggested that maybe we should make a film, and I had an idea. Jared was actually about to move to Denver, which he did. I wrote the first 5 acts, sent them to him, and he liked them so much that he moved back, and we wasted a significant amount of time, or actually spent it well, making what I think is really first-rate, second-rate comic feature, which hopefully will be a cult film eventually, at least in Durango, since the Abbey Theater has agreed to play it every Halloween.
Yeah. John's screenplay from the beginning was always very funny, and that's one of the things that really drew me to it was the dark humor. And it's not really specifically any genre, as you guys would agree. It basically is a dark comedy along with the Western horror crime genres, but the mix of all those things really interests me, and we always discussed how we were going to make the film and what I was always very clear about, I think, what we were aiming for in each scene and what kind of genre we were going to attack next. You know?
We kind of got lucky in the sense that Jared and I shared a common vision of what we wanted in the film from the beginning, and I think for the most part that's captured on film. We also improvised a great deal. Josh was there as much as anyone, and there were times where, you know, people would come up with ideas, or we'd have to change things because the random element of life. People would get in the way of the shoot, or people wouldn't show up, or they'd be late, or hungover, or not us, but certain people we won't draw attention to. But if you're friends with some of the people in our film, you might know who I'm talking about. You know, I think that it was a real privilege to be able to do something that I know all of us always wanted to do, which is make a movie. And making a feature-length film is a challenge that is much larger than I had initially envisioned. In fact, I think it's a good thing that we had no idea what we were getting in for, because otherwise we might not have done it.
Yeah, I think one of my personal favorite parts was just that we were all on the same page. You know, every time on the set, everyone was looking out for everybody, looking out for everything else. You know, and in what you said about you know, everybody kind of pitching in, it was just like two things come to mind for me specifically, and they both involve gloves. One of them was the scene that you had shot walking into the Abbey, where the finale takes place, and we didn't get to use the one where the marquee actually said that Face Eater was playing, which ended up being a good thing because we got to move on. But there was another one in the scene wherein it was with the execution scene, I believe you guys called it, where Steve, who played Mike, was holding you, and he had just showed up and didn't have gloves on. And the scene where he was driving to the location, he actually was. So
Yeah, we had to fix that
a
in
quick
a quick interior shot of the
improvisation.
car. That was scene 11.
And one of the strengths, too, I'd like to point out with making an independent film is John and I always said from the beginning that there would be no ego on this project, and we were always very open to ideas and improvisation. And I think that's, without the combined help of everybody and the ideas of everybody, we wouldn't have the movie we have today. It wouldn't be as strong without that. And I think that's very important for anybody who's making an independent film. Is you have to accept the help from others and listen to their ideas. And if they work, they work, and if not,
Find
this
something
will
else.
be another chance. You'll get another chance.
Our product ended up a lot stronger because of that willingness to listen to ideas and to kind of change things on the fly. And considering that everybody's doing this in their spare time, mostly on weekends, primarily Sundays, we got it as right as we could on the first try, but there were times, for example, the opening sequence with the post office, where our friend Christian had trouble with a particular line. We might end up with several dozen takes of the same item, but in the end, because of our perfectionism or insistence, we definitely ended up with something that I think works overall. Something that surprised me after we released the film is that not everybody seemed to understand that we were doing camp, that it was really intended to be funny.
I was totally surprised that anyone would not be like, oh, okay, wait, that's supposed to be a serious gangster film. Wow, this is crap.
Well, but and the difference there would be if we had made a horrible film that wasn't intentionally meant to intentionally be funny, it would be like a crappy home video. And I mean, the production values of the film itself are very strong. Like, it's a very professional looking film, even though it doesn't take itself seriously. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about it is it seems like it's a bad film, but it's also very professional in the way that we create it. We're very obviously meticulous about what we were doing, and I didn't mean to say bad film. I'm very proud of the film. Some people have thought that it was bad, but
Those people are just the ones who are taking it too seriously.
right.
Or didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Just plain did not get it. You have to look positively at the fact, though, that we played at the Abbey 4 times to a full house.
Yep.
And the audience reaction was really extremely positive. We had a lot of fun. There was a really good energy in the theater.
There were numerous people there for every showing.
Well, 110
Well, I mean,
was
numerous
our lowest.
of the same people that came back to see it 4 times.
And they'd tell their friends, and they'd bring them. And we never spent a dime on advertising. We never did anything other than word of mouth, throwing up a few posters and telling people that, we made this movie and you might want to come see it because we're done.
And the reactions from the people who actually understood the film, who grasped it as we did, just their reactions alone was worth every mishap or delay we had throughout the making, and just seeing the reactions of the people who actually understood what we were trying to achieve was very rewarding.
Yeah. I think my biggest rush came from just the opening night, or any time we were in the theater, was hearing the entire crowd just bust out laughing at once. That was my biggest rush, listening to that happen. Just a whole room full of people who actually got it, and it was just like, we just made something that they enjoyed for an hour and a half.
Well, as a writer, it's a tremendous honor to have a story that I've written brought to life on the screen. I played the main character because we had no choice. I was on screen most of the film, and when you're not paying people to work, it pretty much needs to be you that's volunteering hundreds of hours. And certainly Jared and I are on the long list of hours on this film. Josh put in a lot of great effort, which we greatly appreciate. Lucas Zajkowski also helped a lot, and my son Daniel
Zajkowski.
Zajkowski.
But, yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope he
go.
forgives me.
I
In any case, he couldn't make it today, but he was invited, and we really appreciate everybody's efforts. There were over 50 people that live in Durango that played different characters. Mostly, the first time we cast people, it worked out, but there were some characters like Maliva from Scene 9 that my lovely wife Diane ended up playing that we did have to cast several times.
Yeah, and then sometimes that's just a blessing in disguise. That happened a few times. I think in the end, had we not had a difficulty finding the Maliva character, the scene would have been weaker than it actually turned out to be, because it gave us an extra chance to work on the set, rehearse with the actress. And then the same thing happened with Steve Wayman, who plays Mike in the film. We had, I think, 2 other people before him scheduled to play that character, and it just didn't work out. And in the end, I think Steve has one of the most powerful performances in the film.
In a synchronistic sense, we got lucky. I've always felt that this project had a measure of luck or magic to it.
Well, it took a lot to make the film happen. Everything from technical difficulties to actors and locations and everything.
Yep.
I mean, it all
Weather.
kind of just fell into place, and we were very lucky in a lot of respects. And even when things seemed kind of at their darkest, we somehow ended up with a stronger product because of it.
Odds were we wouldn't be able to finish this film. Odds were it wouldn't have turned out as well as it did. So many things could have shut us down.
Yeah.
Somebody moving, one of the cars we used getting wrecked.
Yeah.
Somebody dying or getting sick. Somebody losing interest.
Preferably in not that order.
Yes. Right. Well, usually they're only sick after they come back to life as a zombie.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, and as I've said many times, without the help of everybody involved, we wouldn't have this product, and we wouldn't have this project to be proud of. And I think this is everybody's movie, not just the one you're in mine, but it took a lot, and I think it's very special, and it's probably going to be something that everybody remembers for a long time who worked on the project.
I'm very proud of it too, and eventually, hopefully by the end of the year, we will have all of our ducks in a row in terms of getting the DVD copyrighted and published and doing all of those things, and we'll see what happens. I do have a card game of the same name, Face Eater, which eventually will be connected in terms of marketing, but we didn't make the film for pecuniary reasons. We made the film literally because we wanted to make a horror film, a crime film.
And we love movies,
Yeah.
We love movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot to actually dedicate yourself to something, especially for 4 years, even if you don't necessarily know it's going to take that long. But just the knowing that we've all made a movie, we've been a part of it, it's very rewarding.
As part of the writing, one of my great advantages was that since it took so long for us to finish this, as we went through and we did more and more scenes and completed more and more of the film, there were parts that I was able in the writing to tweak, where I was actually able to improve upon the original storyline or make modifications that tied it up a little neater. And that really gave us a better product at the end. And of course, since it also took so long, it gave you more opportunity to review it, us to look at it, figure out ways to edit it.
Well, and along with the budgetary constraints that we had, some things that you had written in the beginning, we didn't know how we were going to accomplish those things.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the film where the eyes glow from the gypsy fortune teller, and in the beginning we didn't have anybody to do that. We didn't know anybody who could do that, but the time that it took to make this film, these doors started opening as far as the musical score and graphic design goes, and I mean along the timeline as well. I mean we solved location problems. Like we didn't know we were going to shoot the finale until probably a month before we actually shot it, or 2 months, and I think it worked out.
Yeah. Same with shooting inside the Red Snapper. We were shooting my scene out back, and the owner came out. His name was John, I believe. Just came out and we were just like, hey, can we shoot on your roof, and can we shoot in your building? And he's like, okay. You know, as long as you're out before we start setting up, I don't care. And it was great. It was that willingness for, you know, every place involved.
Yeah, the businesses were great in town. Everybody's very supportive and willing to help us.
No one refused. There wasn't a single place that was approached that did not work with us or agree to cooperate and let us in. And sometimes that was well before they were open. For example, the pool hall scene.
Yeah. Right.
Pongas, I mean, they were opening at noon. We're down there at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank every business owner and every person that helped us to bring this film to life. And I'll name some of those quickly. The Strader Hotel, the Newman Building, both the new and the old post offices, the Diamond Circle Melodrama, the Abbey Theater, the bookcase that I owned at the time and Ann Perkins now owns.
Mama's Boy, Red Snapper, the post office. Oh, you said that. Yeah, just everybody. It was great, you know, and everyone was not just, well, I guess, they were really stoked to be involved.
And, you know, we would work with people to the point that we needed them. I mean, if it's a small part, their character was relatively two-dimensional, so we didn't ask a lot of them, but they needed to be able to pull it off to the extent that it would capture the campy frame or you know, the atmosphere that we were trying to achieve.
Yeah, and I think throughout the process, I was always, and I know you and I are both pretty much consummate perfectionists. You know, it puts, having no money to make this film, it puts a lot of pressure on you when you have, you know, how many people do we have working on this film? Probably like 50
There were
to 60.
51 characters.
When you have 60 people, you know, willing to work with you for free, they're trusting you to make a good product. And along you know, the whole time we were shooting, you know, I think you and I and everybody involved all tried to make this as good of a product as possible, because everybody pretty much put their trust in you to not make them look like a idiot on screen. You know, it's going to be playing, you know, for a movie that's going to be playing in front of the whole town. And I think that I think we really surpassed, not to sound you know, arrogant at all, but I mean, I think we ended up with a better product than we originally thought was possible.
Yeah, I agree.
I think everyone involved in the project agrees.
And I mean, it shows how dedicated the people were working on this film to enlist, you know, us with their trust throughout the making of this film, and dedicate 3 years of their life to something they didn't know how it would turn out. I mean, opposed to a big budget movie that would take 3 months to shoot, and if it's crap, then they still get paid, and you know, it's crap. But they didn't get paid, and it's not crap. So.
Well, I have seen a lot of movies made in the last few years and a long time ago that really don't stand up to the quality of our film Face Eater. If you look at the stuff that they used to put out in drive-ins, they're so rudimentary and ridiculously simple and poorly carried out that there's almost you know, no comparison in terms of quality.
And well, that's another thing is we didn't have the budget to have, you know, look at dailies when we were shooting a day's work. You know, we would film on Sundays generally, and I would look at the footage throughout the week, and if it didn't work, we'd go back and do it, you know, 20 more times if it didn't work, and we would do it until it did work. And I think that amount of dedication is part of the reason why we have such a strong product.
We never expected everyone to like it. In fact, we did a lot of things that were politically incorrect or somewhat deliberately pushing the line of what's acceptable or what's funny or even what's ever been filmed before, because I think it's really a uniquely strange film. And certainly the town, for the vast majority of examples, has been supportive. One notable exception to that would be the Durango Independent Film Festival's decision to not play the film, which we were legitimately surprised at.
Yep.
Not just because everyone in the film was a local,
Yep.
and not just because we showed all the historical buildings and did all the things to celebrate and honor the town of Durango, but because it really wasn't a bad film. We tried extremely hard and spent countless hundreds, if not thousands of hours to make this 98-minute film when it is. And to have them basically say, we can't play it because it's been in the theater and you got money for it. Well, that just wasn't true.
No, and my whole argument against that was just, had they told us from the beginning, sorry, good job, congratulations on making a film, good luck to you, it's not our thing, I would have been perfectly fine. I would have been just as disappointed as I am now, but, I would have just said, you know what, you're right. Looking at a lot of their stuff, they play really, they do a lot of documentaries, a lot of sports snowboarding videos and stuff like that. And yeah, it doesn't generally fall into the same scheme of things that they play.
And that's what I was really looking forward to, is having such a different film than that's ever played in the festival.
And no offense to the festival, I think that it was a mistake, and I think that it was a lost opportunity for them.
I agree, but I mean, like you said, this movie's very different. It's not everybody's cup of tea. That's perfectly fine. But people don't make movies for other people to enjoy. I mean, generally, I think we all made this movie.
That's how to make crap.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we all made this movie basically for us. I mean, I made the kind of movie that I like. And I think everybody who worked on it likes those kind of movies.
Absolutely.
And if people don't like it, that's fine. But I do think that Face Eater has a significant chance of
some minor status in the cult genre.
Sure.
And certainly it's something that I will enjoy having done and be proud of for the rest of my life. We'd like to take this brief break to allow you to have a 3-minute scene 6, which is the comic geek scene from the film.
One of my favorites, actually.
And we'll be right back.
Which issue of Justice League did Wonder Woman first appear in?
Like, before number 1? The JLA first appeared in The Brave and the Bold number 28. Everyone knows that.
Mommy!
What is it, sweetie?
This book is sticky.
Here, let me take that for you. Would you guys like some candy?
What do you guys say?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman number 1 was her real first appearance, Boomer. A psychologist created her back in 1942 so girls could read comics too.
Not even, Charlie. Wonder Woman's first appearance was in Sensation Comics number 1, 6 months before she got her own book.
Actually, you're both wrong. Wonder Woman first appeared in All-Star Comics number 8, and her origin was continued in Sensation 1.
You didn't know.
Shut up, I just forgot.
We're back. Hope you enjoyed that. I would like to, since we're down to about 7 minutes of conversation left, and in our actually less with the spot, we have about 4 minutes left. So I would just like to reiterate again my heartfelt thanks to both of you guys and to everybody that worked with us on this project. It's been a real honor, a privilege, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, thanks for letting me. I mean, that was...
We needed you.
Well, I'm glad I got to, put my skills to use. This was the point of doing all, taking the classes in college and, just doing all the stuff myself, built up for, hey, we need you to make sound. And I was like, perfect.
Hey, I got to learn how to act. I got to be a better writer. I learned a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I did
related
too.
to this film.
I think we all did. I
Yeah,
don't see how any of us couldn't have. I mean, after 4 years, it's definitely been a learning experience, but something that I think is invaluable forever.
Yeah.
And it was a privilege to bring your script to the screen. Something I liked very much since the beginning, and
Thank you.
it was fun.
That was the point.
Oh, I can't imagine making a film like Face Eater without intending to have it fun, because there's no other point. It's a very silly film, and a very strange film, and a really, I think, unique mixture of Western horror, crime, and comedy.
It's like something I've never seen before, and I think I'm extremely proud of it. I don't think I've ever been anything more proud of anything I've ever worked on, but it's so unique in itself. It just, every scene is different from the next, and it just explores different genres, and the characters are interesting, and they're all very unique in their own way, and it's a very special thing to me. So.
Yeah.
You mentioned to me a long time ago that you would sometimes wonder what the film was about, and I appreciate that you had faith in me as a writer as we were going through the process. In the same way you mentioned earlier that we had to have people have faith in us,
Right.
that we would eventually put together something that was worth watching, and not just be a large bundle of footage that induced slumber.
Yeah, well, and
So-
it's funny too, because I actually never really knew until it all came together. To be honest, I started working on the post-production, but I don't think I picked up a single script until the scene I was in. So I really, and there were shoots I didn't show up at, I couldn't make, things like that, and so I didn't get to see everything until it was all put together, and I was just like, oh, all right, I get it now. That's cool. So it was really interesting for me also to work on a project that it was still fun to be there, and that was kind of my whole motivation. I really didn't know all of what it was about, but it was while I was there, I had a good time, and I put what I could
think
into it.
like that was true for a lot of people working on the film, especially the characters who had smaller parts in the film, and just seeing their reactions to the film when it actually had played in the theaters.
See where their character falls in place.
Yeah, and just because they had, all they really knew was about their scene. They hadn't read the whole script, and that was definitely fun.
Well, I was conscious of the story structure and where it was going.
Well,
I'd hope so. Yeah.
Had I not been, we wouldn't have the film that we have. But I'm happy with how it turned out, and it turned out well.
Definitely.
So unless you guys have something else to add, I think we've pretty much covered it, and we basically did this little show just to let the town know that we had a good time, and we appreciate everybody's help, and to the extent that this encourages other young filmmakers, I hope it does. Just be careful, what you're biting off before you chew it, because relationships came and went, people came and went. A lot of things changed during the making of this film, but it was well worth it. And again, thank you for joining us
I think
for the making of Face Eater.
I think if one person, or if anyone takes one thing out of this, it's just don't take the film seriously. Just go there, watch it, have fun, that's it.
Well, my question is, how high are you if you're taking the film seriously?
Not high enough, probably.
Couple too many beers if you think it was a crime drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.